Yes, so over the last 2 to 3 years, the security landscape has changed quite drastically for our customers. Some of the trends we've seen include cloud, mobility, uh, BYOD, bring your own device. That's something that enterprises are adopting a lot more because of productivity reasons, because of cost reasons. So that has changed the way they look at security. The number of threats that have come in because of these new kind of models, business models, mean that the enterprises have to now look at security a little more differently. So from the traditional threats of basic viruses and maybe DDoS attacks, it's the enterprise is now looking at how to protect themselves against malware, advanced malware, threats, people trying to steal their data. So that's some of the biggest threats that we've seen in an enterprise space. Most enterprises realize that how much ever prevention that you put into the network, it's still not enough because some malware does get through. The focus now is changing on how to detect that malware when it gets through and how to block it when it actually gets through and starts to execute. So our conversations with these customers have changed, and the opportunity now is to work with these customers grounds up to look at what is the kind of data that they have in their organization, what is the data that's most at risk, the information, and how do we prevent this from being stolen. So that's how the opportunity has changed over the last couple of years. So what Cisco follows in the security space is a simple architecture. We call it the before, during, and after phases. The thought process here is that some threats will get through, so you do everything possible to prevent these threats. But if the threat does get through, how fast do you detect them and how fast do you block them, which is the during phase, and the after phase, which is you ensure that reinfection does not happen and you learn from that breakthrough and prevent further such mistakes. So from a Cisco perspective, we have products, technologies, and services in each of these phases. So starting from basic network firewalls to more advanced next generation firewalls, next generation IPS, the new product that we have called the Identity Services Engine, that's more in terms of doing network admission and control. All of this is in the before phase. We've made a few acquisitions, and now we have a very comprehensive set of products and technologies in the during phase, which includes advanced malware protection, next generation IPS again, and in the after phase, again we have products like the threat defense, cyber threat defense, and again the advanced malware protection. All of it targeted towards visibility, all of it targeted towards ensuring that you have the right context so that you are safe from these multiple advanced threats that have come in. So advanced persistent threats is a big area of focus for us. We do have an entire set of products which we call advanced malware protection, or AMP. Our approach is simple. Advanced persistent threats or advanced malware cannot be stopped only at one part of the network. You have to have visibility across the network at every point, at the perimeter, at the gateway level, at the endpoint level, near the data center, in your network. So we have an entire set of technologies and products that provide this level of visibility in firewalls, in IPS devices, in content security gateway devices, in endpoint devices, and everywhere on the network. So we use analytics, big data analytics on the cloud as well, to actually look at all this data, identify threats as and when they come in, and be able to block them using remediation devices. So that's our entire offering on the advanced malware protection, or AMP everywhere phase. A lot of customers that we're speaking to today have come to the conclusion or come to the realization that advanced malware is probably the biggest threat facing them today. Because the idea of advanced malware is not to just bring down your network, it is to actually steal the data. So the India market, we have a discussion with a lot of customers across verticals, public sector, BFSI, IT services, including the commercial space and the mid-market space. A lot of customers are looking at these kind of protection across the network to ensure that the sensitive data that they have in the network does not get breached or stolen. So the Internet of Things, or the Internet of Everything, like we are talking about, is getting millions and billions of devices connected on the Internet. While this is extremely great for a smart city, for an enterprise, because it brings a lot more devices online, it allows you to get a lot more visibility. It also changes the attack surface for threats, because now you have many more entry points for a malicious attack or a hacker or a malicious file to come into the network. So security forms backbone of the Internet of Everything, because without a sound security framework, we are actually opening it up to a lot more threats. So from a Cisco perspective, for us, we are building security into every aspect of the Internet of Everything. So if you look at our basic network devices that are talking about it, we're looking at physical safety, we're looking at every single device that's connecting to multiple sensors. The security part is built in. Now the framework remains the same, which is the before, during and after phase. So we have to do everything possible to prevent threats. But if threats do get through, how do you ensure that you detect them and block them from further damage? So the framework remains the same. The scale changes. So you're now talking about a much bigger scale of devices and embedding security into each and every entry point onto the network. And the big data analytics that go around it also have to be a lot more powerful. So that's where our investments are going and building in security. So what has happened over the last few years is that in unified communication, we've started bringing the unified communication video all onto the same IP network that data travels on. So as far as the data of the network goes, unified communication video is another application. What devices, what technology, what products that we use to protect the network on in terms of critical data applies to video conferencing as well. So basic encryption, today we offer encryption on all our unified communication products, from a IP phone to a video conferencing equipment to a laptop to a desktop. So that prevents malicious hackers or snoops from getting into that particular thing. But it's also how good your network is from attacks. And the same concept applies of before, during, after, so that you don't have hackers breaking into the network and then being able to tap such sensitive communication. So that's how we ensure that even the unified communication on the IP networks is well protected. When enterprises move to the cloud, and they do it for a very good reason, because it's flexibility, it helps their business, it optimizes costs, it helps them get off the ground faster. There's a very good reason for enterprises to move to the cloud. However, there is an increased amount of threat perception as well. When enterprises move to the cloud, the data now moves outside their own sphere of control. They have multiple users connecting to a cloud. So what needs to be done is that the connections to the cloud have to be secure, which is encryption mechanisms. But more importantly, when data has been accessed from a cloud through devices that are not within the enterprise's perimeter, you have people accessing cloud from an airport Wi-Fi, for instance. The same policies that apply in an enterprise setup have to be applied even in a cloud-based mechanism. So that's the way we are helping organizations. So we have a cloud-based web security called Cisco Cloud Web Security that even has advanced malware protection built into it. We offer hosted email security on the cloud that has advanced malware protection built into it. We have the AnyConnect, which is a software that runs on pretty much any device that allows you to do encrypted communications from the device all the way to the cloud to ensure that the data is not leaked. So we are working with customers in different fields to ensure that when they do move to the cloud, whether it's a private cloud or a public cloud or even a hybrid cloud, that their data is safe, that the users are safe, and more importantly, their entire network is safe from malicious attacks. So Cisco firmly believes that security is a continuous paradigm. It is before, the during, and the after. So talking about one single product would be a little difficult. However, our new launch of the Cisco Firepower services for ASA actually kind of exemplifies what we're talking about. It is one single product, it's one single appliance that does multiple functions. So it is a basic network firewall, one of the world's best network firewalls actually, but with an addition of a license, which is actually our acquisition of SourceFire and that integration, the network firewall now becomes a next generation firewall. It can become a next generation IPS. It is an advanced malware protection, and this can be placed in multiple parts of your network. It can be in the branch office, it can be in a smaller office, it can be in a retail shop, and gives you the various forms of protection that I described. It's preventive, it identifies threats as and when they break through, and can help you remediate them as well. So if you ask me that one single product that will change the way that companies and organizations in India look at security, it's probably the Firepower services for ASA. Cisco firmly believes that our go-to-market is intricately linked with our partnerships. We have one of the best set of partners in the country, and we work with them very closely in not just in security but across our different product lines. What we're doing with our partners is multiple phases. So we are enabling them, training them, providing them with the skills, with the training, with the demo equipment necessary to be able to actually take this messaging of ours to the various customers and be able to sell this solution to them a lot more. We also have various incentive programs and go-to-market programs with them, so that their profitability is maintained, and that's why they love doing business with Cisco as well. So with our go-to-market is completely with the partners. So we help them build services around these product sets so they can offer value-added services to their customers as well. So that's how we're working with partners to take the security messaging and these products to our customers.